When you come to Russia, you're going to realize that Russia is its completely own place, right? It's not like anywhere else. Russia, with its own traditions, with its own customs, has its own feel to it. You know when you're in Russia. When I get off the plane and I come out of the airport and I take a deep breath, I feel that I'm in Russia. Russia is its own, I don't know, monster and its own fairy tale all in one. And Russia is everything to me. I absolutely love it here, and I'm so happy that I live here. But today I want to talk about some of the things that I respect about Russia. Russia's taught me an awful lot. Now, obviously, with me growing from young man to middle-aged man in Russia, I've learned an awful lot. Perhaps I would have learned those things if I'd lived in the UK. Maybe I would have. But I've got nothing to compare it to. But when I see my twin brother, I see that we're now very different. And so today I want to talk about some of the things that I respect about Russia. One of the things I've learned to, well, I guess I've learned myself because of Russia, is that small problems are not problems. Small problems are just things that can be solved. In Russia, there's always a way to solve a problem. It's never the end of the world. Sometimes it used to feel like the end of the world, and I'd feel like, oh man, I wouldn't sleep because of a problem. And I know that us foreigners, we worry about problems way more than Russian people do. Because when I speak to foreign people about, you know, getting the documents done and all this kind of stuff, they always worry. They always worry like way more than they need to worry. And so I know that I used to be like that, but now I'm not like that anymore. And that's because Russia and Russians have taught me there's no point to worry about your problems. It's not going to help you worrying about them. Let's look at how we can solve them. And so Russia and Russians don't care about little problems. They care about big problems. Russians have been through a lot. Russians have been through the end of the Soviet Union, right? Russians have been through, before that, the revolution, and then the Second World War and all the hell that came with that. And then they lived through the 90s, which was a complete criminal time, and they've been through loads of stages of instability. So for a Russian person, a problem like, I don't know, you've got problem transferring your money or something like that is not a problem. It's a situation that simply needs resolving. Look at this for a driveway door. Wonder if that's their dog. Before you come to Russia, you're probably going to be skeptical about what Russian people are going to be like. Are they going to be accepting? Are they going to be nice? Are they going to be friendly? Well, one thing that I've noticed about Russian people, and I thank the Lord that I'm in a country where the people are like this, you don't have the antisocial behavior. And people are just nice. Now, you could walk around for hours and no one will say anything to you. You're not going to get criticized by people. You're not going to have people wanting to fight you. You're not going to have stress. You can go on a night out in Russia and everyone will be nice to you and normal. You won't have arguments with people. It's so refreshing because I'm from the UK and I know exactly what it's like to go out on a night out. It can be complete carnage. And you can go out in Russia and it's completely different. It's a completely different world. And I'm so lucky that I get to live here and witness what it's like when people are civilized and nice to each other. Because I think we're taught around the world that Russians are not like that. We're taught that Russia is going to be a place where people are not going to be civilized, but they are. And it's extremely, what's the word? Incredible when you can go to a bar on your own, for example, and you can meet some people there and they're going to invite you to sit at their table. They're going to chat to you. They're going to be friendly. And you're not going to have problems. And it's like night and day compared to the UK. It really is. And I'm so blessed that I get to live here. Another thing that you probably wouldn't expect is that Russians eat extremely healthy and they live extremely healthy lives. I'm often surprised by how healthy Russian men in particular are. Now, you know Russian women, right? You hardly get any Russian women that are overweight at all. But when it comes to summer, the foreigners, right, we're used to eating burgers and all that fast food stuff. When it comes to Russia, and your friends will take off their clothes to go swimming and they'll be completely ripped. And you'll think, what the hell? How did that happen? And you're almost every time, the foreigner in the group is the least healthy looking. Russians, yeah, some of them may drink vodka, right? But when they drink vodka, they're going to eat healthy the whole time that they're drinking it. It's a completely different concept to living in the West. People in Russia eat healthy food, they go to the gym, they do sport. In Russia, they do a thing that's called zaryadnik, which is like the recharge. If you think of your phone, the thing that charges your phone is zaryadnik, okay, the phone charger. And in the morning, the Russians will go for a run, a stretch, do some exercises. Whenever I've been camping or I've maybe stayed in a village house or something, in the morning when you're preparing to go to wherever you're going to, there'll always be a Russian that will be like, well, give me 15 minutes, I've just got to do my morning routine. And they'll go for a run, they'll go for a walk, they'll do some stretches. I think it's something that's taught in the Soviet Union and then something else that's taught in schools. And I think school kids learn to do their morning exercises to prepare themselves for the day, which is really cool, right? It's a really good habit to have, but Russians are really, really healthy. So I'm trying to be healthy too. Another thing that I respect Russia for is Russia cares about Russia. Russia does what's best for Russia. The Russian government does what's best for Russia. They don't listen to what other countries think they should do. They do what they think is best for Russia and for Russian citizens. And they don't care about the consequences. They can be sanctioned like crazy, whatever, right? They can be punished, whatever. We're going to do what's best for Russia and for Russian people. And I respect Russia for that so much, because in the West, people don't do what's best for themselves. Typically, any NATO country does whatever America says, because if you're friends with the US, then everything's fine with you. And so often you'll do things that the US would say, even though it's going to affect you and be difficult and harmful for your country. And it's not because you want to do it, it's because they tell you to do it. If you look at the sanctions that were put on Russia, right? Germany screwed itself completely. There was a great gas pipeline sending cheap gas to Germany, but no, they were told by the US, stop buying the gas. Even though the US clearly wanted to take over the European gas market, and they've been trying to do that for years. And then of course the Nord Stream pipeline was blown up, and now everyone's buying American natural liquefied gas for, well, 4 times the price. Well done. Another thing that Russians have taught me is, apart from I hate these dogs, so I shouldn't say I hate them, but just annoying. Russians generally do not care what other people think about them. That is something that I'm trying to learn from Russians. Being a nice guy is very difficult. I'm always trying to please people. I'm always trying to do extra nice things for people. But I'm trying to learn to be more like a Russian person, because a Russian person does not care what anybody thinks about him. And I think it's come from the government, because the government doesn't care what other countries think about them. They care about what's best for Russia, and Russian people are the same. There's so many situations that I've had in my life where I perhaps feel a bit nervous, And my Russian friends have said, well, don't care about that person, don't care about this. What that person thinks is none of their business, right? None of your business, what that person thinks, right? And so I'm trying to learn from Russian people because they're really good at not caring about what other people think about them. So look, we've got a little park here. It's interesting. I wonder if the locals will just put this together because it's not like a massive park. Perhaps it's just an empty plot, look. Russian people have a very positive outlook on life. They don't let little things worry them. It's very strange because their mindset is completely different and they don't care about little things that we'd care about in the West. They do not care about them, and it's so refreshing for them to have this positive mindset, because some people I look at and I think, oh, you should be really sad. Life should be stressful for you. You've had a difficult one, but they don't seem to care, or perhaps they don't let other people know about their problems. I don't really enjoy walking around estates like this, these brand new areas, because there's not as much interesting things to show you. This entire area has been built by one company, and so you haven't got different styles. It looks a lot more like housing areas in the UK where everything's just kind of neat and tidy. Maybe people have got fences that are different, and that's about all. So I much prefer walking around a place where at least there's different styles, but probably in villages where you've got a mixture of old and new. You let me know, what do you prefer? Because at the end of the day, I'm creating content for you, not for me. I can smell barbecue. I can smell barbecue. Oh, what kind of barbecue do you like? What's your favourite thing to have on a barbecue? I like spicy chicken wings. Everybody loves my spicy chicken wings. And of course I make them really spicy.